Good morning and a very warm welcome to Spotlight on 6 Plus Careers. Please could you introduce yourself?
Good morning, my name is Tom Baylis and the current owner of Tom Baylis Fitness.
So what does your job involve?
Okay, so my job involves all aspects of personal training. So for example, I will work with clients in my studio at home, in which I've set up for personal training. I'll also work with clients online through kind of an online app as well. So they're the kind of main ways in which I operate.
What has been your career's journey to get to this point?
Okay, so my journey is probably a little different to what I probably would have planned. I started off in teaching and currently still teaching, so teaching business studies. And I've done that now for like 12 years, but I've always enjoyed sport and recreation and always been involved in team sports, individual sports. And as I've developed through teaching, which I still very much enjoyed, I kind of almost wanted to kind of see what else and where I could kind of take my coaching skills. And through probably some self-discovery and what I wanted to achieve, when my sports, like my football and other team sports, come to start to slow down due to obviously been playing many years and family, I then wanted to have my own kind of personal kind of challenge. And so from my personal kind of challenge, what I wanted to do with kind of gym-based activities, I then discovered some things about myself which I didn't know were, which I had in me. So for example, not the ability to kind of physically change, but from gym training, I found the self-confidence, the self-belief, that ability to kind of, push and test myself further kind of came along on this journey with me. And it was when I kind of discovered this, I was like, actually, this is pretty special in regards to some of these things which come with a healthy and more active lifestyle. And that's when I thought, well, I want to share this and obviously kind of, can I bring this across to people? Not just that kind of have to be a high or elite level, could be any level from your average person who's just looking to make some kind of progress with their kind of fitness goals. So it was taking that teaching and think, well, can I combine these to really kind of start doing what I want to do? And that is to work one-to-one with people from all kind of backgrounds to kind of help and kind of push them towards and help them get their goals or what they're looking to achieve. So that's where the kind of crossover came, which is the kind of led me to where I am now.
So where has your job taken you?
Well, the job has taken me to a position where I always wanted to, when I started getting it, I wanted to work in this kind of real kind of personal situations where I'm working one-to-one. I will do kind of group sessions, but I'm really want to build, and I'm very interested in kind of that kind of client relationship, because understanding who you're working with, their lifestyle, and everything about them can help build a picture to kind of really help them to work towards their goals. So this kind of has taken me to a situation. Obviously, the pandemic came, which yes, people say it's kind of created some situations where things are different, but I took the opportunity to think, well, actually, how can this now give me some time to really push on with what I want to do? Where can I take this to? Because I'd have a bit more time at home, what I was doing, which allowed for further studies. I also then took the opportunity to convert part of the house into my kind of training studio. So that was a project which kind of took the beginning of the first few months to kind of convert that. So, and that's now led me into a position where I can kind of will be able to coach and do everything from my kind of home and the studio, which is going to be ideal as we kind of move later into this year.
So if you were to hire somebody to work for your company, what skills and qualities would you be looking for?
I think the skills I'll be looking for is that kind of that innate kind of personality trait that you want to help someone, that someone is fully in it to kind of really take someone on that kind of journey. Because whether how I am or where I am my training or how I look, that's fine for me, but that's not going to help my client. It's all about what I can do, how much kind of value I can bring to a client. And fitness and nutrition can really be sensitive for some people due to whether, and I think it's that understanding that that you are someone who's there for them, you understand them, and you're there to kind of bring on their goals. So it's certainly someone who has that innate ability to want to help. Communication skills are key, from whether it's you on the floor training one-to-one, giving advice, There's times when you're going to have to be able to, maybe tell someone, which they may not want to hear, but you're trying to kind of help them. Sometimes it's always a case of, okay, well, people may struggle from week to week and they may have relapses. Well, let's work on the positive. So it's someone who's got to be able to kind of communicate and take sometimes which looks deemed a negative and put that into a positive. So always having the positive spin and that kind of glass half full is definitely has to be in regards to personal training.
Absolutely. Who would you say would be your role model?
Okay. My role model, my first one that comes to mind would probably be my partner. Now, my partner is someone who works in the oil and gas industry, and she is someone who went for her schooling, and she was always prepared to kind of work hard from her first kind of job, in which she worked at kind of care homes. She went to offices. She was prepared to do anything to kind of work hard at it, and she got an opportunity at a company, and it was in there as kind of a secretary, and she was doing photocopying and laminating. She took the job and she worked hard at that job, and she kind of listened to people. She took advice. She kind of, she didn't just arrive at 9 and leave at 5. She'd be there at 8:30 and leave at 5:30. Or she'd always kind of go there, and that opportunity led to further opportunities until she moved up into the office. Then she was a part of the team. Then she was a team leader. Then into a manager. And she's worked her way through the industry, through the company now, and after being there now 20 years, she's now the managing director of the international business.
Wow.
So she's gone from the top, and that just shows, and I use that a lot when I'm even speaking to clients about how I do things, or when I was in my teaching kind of role. It's very much a case of you have to be someone who backs yourself and are willing to kind of work hard and stay consistent at that. It's the same as when you do personal training. You have to trust the process of working hard will pay off. I think it's too easy sometimes to get somewhere. We do it for a while and we think, we're not getting somewhere. There's always be competition. There's always be someone who's there against you, but you've got to trust yourself in these situations. Working hard will pay off.
Perseverance, absolutely. And finally, what advice would you give to your 15-year-old self?
Probably kind of goes back on to the point I just mentioned, that if I was 15, I would look back, I would say to myself, look, you need to back yourself. You have to. I think at 15, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that, but I felt a lot of other people doing that. That person's probably going to get me, they've got better this than me. Well, that person's got that, I haven't got that. And I just would always kind of talk myself out, because it's probably like, I didn't want to get so far, then, what if I fail? What if I don't get that job interview? What if I don't get that? And therefore, I'd shape my life around these kind of things. And I've got to a stage now, I think, well, sometimes you have to have that experience, but I can now reflect back on it. Say, if I was that time, I'd say, look, just go for it. If you go for something, it doesn't work out, you will learn that experience. Don't try and always. Sometimes when we fail, it's not a bad thing, because we actually get stronger for it. I think it's the same. There's always going to be someone who's brighter or bigger or stronger, whatever it is. It is very much a case of focus on you, because to be honest, that other person's probably not worried about you. They're focused on themselves as well. So I think definitely, if I was looking back at myself, I'd say, look, go for a bit more, back yourself.
Absolutely. That's such good advice. And thank you so much for your time this afternoon.